It's been a long time, dude. Welcome back. Doing some book reviews. I know I said I was gonna quit, but I kind of like it, so it's like, I think I'll just continue, you know? I'm sorry if the chair is squeaking very much. Then I must apologize to you. It's a rather interesting episode today. I love reading, but sometimes I don't have the time to read. And I think most people can resonate with that, but I got audiobooks. So I listen to a lot of books. So today I thought, why don't we just go through some of the books that I really loved on Audible. So the books we're gonna, I just have to, the books we're gonna read today are, I'm not gonna you're about to get punched. Don't act like that, dude. I'm gonna review Sex at Dawn, Power of Habits, The Little Book of Talents, I had to look, and focus me now. Over here, hey. That's good. And The Richest Man in Babylon. I know it's technically not a book review, it's an audible book review, but it's fine. Who gives? Let's start. So the first, Sex at Dawn. First book, Sex at Dawn, the prehistoric origins of modern sexuality, how we mate, why we stray, and what it means for modern relationships. It was written by, names is always the problem. It's written by Christopher Ryan, and oh my goodness, Casilda Jetta. Sounds like a Jedi name. It sounds like Casilda Jetta, the last Jedi. Poor child. Casilda, I'm sorry. I was just joking around. You probably had a wonderful, wonderful time growing up. What is the book about? What it's about? So, as you can guess, sexuality. Well, these authors, Casilda and Christopher, has basically taken the standpoint which were like sort of outside the realm of politics and traditions and culture, and which I hope they intended to do as well. At least it seemed like it. So it's quite scientific in its points, and it has some really great points, which we'll come back to later. It's a very controversial book. And why do I say that? Well, it sort of goes against the traditional, or at least it argues against the traditional way we think about relationship and sex. It's sort of a very modern viewpoint on relationships, but it was really well written. It was really well argued, and though I haven't checked the sources, so I can't, because I just wanted to read a book about this topic to perhaps help sort some problems out, you know? Because you have the traditional ones that, you know, you can't, what's it called? Separate moral and sexual behavior, or you can't have casual sex, I believe. That's the traditional viewpoint. You know, a lot of famous intellectuals from the traditional side have at least this as their main standpoint. My thoughts on the book. What do I think about the book? Initially, I had a standpoint that was leaning more towards the traditional ones, in that I thought, you know, yeah, like you can't go around with everyone, you're supposed to get married, you know, the traditional one. That was the one that I was taught when I was a child, sort of speaking. So that was my like initial standpoint, I suppose. But then it sort of changed after reading the book. Now I just don't know. Like they laid out some pretty good arguments, and I'm just standing here in the middle. Oh, great, that didn't solve shit. It just created a lot of fucking problems. Because now I don't know. Is there anything like casual sex? I don't know. I don't know the literature about it, so I should make no judgment. I'm not wise in this area, so should I make the judgment and affect other people's opinion when I clearly don't know anything myself? So I think that's fairly understandable. I really liked it. I probably won't read it again, but I really enjoyed it. So my 3-word description of the book: brilliant and provocative. And I would rate the book a 7 out of 10. It was really good. Yeah, I'll rate it. I'll give it 7 out of 10. Yeah. How do you like the smooth jazz, by the way? Is it comfy? Is it good? It's like, ooh, it's nice. Okay, good. The next audiobook, I should say, The Power of Habits: Why We Do What We Do and How to Change, by Charles Duig. I think we got that name down. What is the book about? Well, as the title suggests, The Power of Habits is about habits. Oh my god, mind-blowing. Charles takes a very scientific standpoint on habits, how they sort of affect you and affect other people, and how you can utilize them for your own gains. I think that's sort of his initial standpoint, at least. He's done a really good job of furthering the information that he has gathered too, and I really enjoyed it. Oh my god, it's a good book. It's a really good book. Another thing with the book, it has a lot of stories and examples. So it's not like a very dry scientific book. It's more like a colorful story with moral lessons. Just instead of moral lessons, you have power of habits. How habits affect you, how you can change them, and a lot of examples. That's really it. What are my thoughts? It was a great book. I loved it. I enjoyed it every minute of it, and I will definitely, like I said, read it again. I gotta be honest though, I was more looking forward for something with I wanted a book that could tell me what to do with my terrible habits. Cause I got fucked up habits. I want some of my habits just gone, right? There's some habits that I just do not need. And I would love to just get a step by step. First you do this, then you jump off the cliff, and hopefully your habits are gone. You get what I'm saying? It was no step by step sort of thing, and it's a lot of stories. So although I enjoyed the stories very much, sir, thank you, I don't think that was what I was looking for. I was looking for something else. And yeah, something to point out about the stories, some of the stories seems like a half story, sort of. I just noticed it might be just me, I don't know if anybody else will notice it, but I was like, he will come with an example, a story, beautiful story, and then it stops halfway, and I'm just standing there really? Is it stopping here? Am I not understanding? I know I'm not English, so who knows? That might have a big impact on this. But a 3-word description: habits complete goals. That's what I learned. That's what I take from the power of habits. Is that good habits, good results. After reading this book, I've been rather conscious of my own habits and tried to discover my habits and change them and tweak them and set up a semi-schedule so I can get in a good rhythm. I will rate this book 8 out of 10. That brings us to the next book, The Little Book of Talents. 52 tips for improving your skills, by Daniel Coyle. I hope that's correct. It's Daniel Coyle. Here from Nebraska. What it's about. Tips for developing skills. If you have something you're passionate about, you can read this little book here. You'll find some really good tips. It's a relatively small and short book. I believe I think it's 5 hours, if I remember correctly, something like that. It's not long at all. And he also created the book to be quite small, so it could fit, the book version could fit in your pocket, so you can go have it around. Let's say you're a coach or you have a skill that you want to develop, and you're like, dude, what was his tips? And then you can just, and you can become the next greatest bottle flipper in the world. Have you thought about that? Well, here's your chance. Daniel has traveled a lot, talking with top performers, top coaches, neurologists. He was trying to figure out the secrets of how the best performers became the best performers. It's his short notebook on how you can become the greatest. So my thoughts on the book. I thought it was really good. It's in a strange way, it was really motivating to read this book. I was like, dude, I just want to go and do my life right now. It was short, sweet. It's one of these books that I'm just gonna probably read every year. My 3-word description: inspiring the greatness. That's my description of the book. And I think that's exactly what this book does. I think in core that, although it is aimed at how you get there, I think the motivation for how you get there is to inspire greatness. I'll rate it 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was really good. That brings us to the last book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Oh boy, I got a lot to say about this book. So the book is originally over 2,000 years old, but the collection of the works was done by George S. Clason. So what is the book? So the book is a collection of transcribed from cuneic form into English. Cuneic form is this old Babylonian Sumerian language that they used in Babylon for 2500, something like that. It's far back. It's far back. It's yeah. It's before Jesus back. Like it's fucking. It's far. So, what does this mystical book contain, you might think? It talks about the principle of gaining and obtaining wealth. So, it's really like the ground rules of making wealth. It also, the interesting thing about it, since it's a collection of stories, it also talks, but also why you should do it. That's an interesting one. I haven't read a lot of business books that tells you why you should do this. And it does it brilliantly. And it's written so intelligently. It's so magical. I don't want to say more than that. So here are my thoughts about the book. So if you didn't guess, I don't like the book. I didn't like it at all. It was terrible. It should be burned. No, I clearly love this book. I think it's the best book I've ever read my entire life. And it's fantastic. It's relatively short too. I think the audiobook is like 4 hours. So it's not long at all. I've already read the book or listened to it 3 times, I think. I'm going to continue studying it because it's like that book right there. Oh, it's so delicious. I can't wrap my head around it. What makes the book very different from any other book that I've read, really, is that it actually has a life philosophy in it. A life philosophy that's very logical and very efficient. And I have found maybe 1 or 2 other books. My 3-word description of the book. Greatest book ever. So, rating 10 out of 10. It's the best thing I've ever read, I think. So that's our 4 books. Those were all a great read. I have read or listened to a lot more books, but they haven't been that great. So I picked the 4 best. So I thought, dude, we'll pick the 4 best. These are great. I gotta love it. It's the best. And you can find, of course, the books. Link in the description. It's not like an affiliate link or anything. It's just a link to Amazon where you can buy the book. So yeah. Which book was your favorite book? Have you any more comments about it? Please share down below. Because I would really, really love to hear if anyone else has any commentary about any of these books. Especially the last one. Subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you. Bye!